it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So today I'm going to do a video that I tend to do a little later in the week. It's usually my get ready with me at work video, but I don't think I'm gonna have to go into the office this week, so I figured I would just sit down and play with makeup today and just do that. So I do have two palettes that I recently got. One is the Blend Bunny All Done Up palette. So here is that. I actually used this over the weekend. I just used two shades. I used Ready and Pouty. Just those two. The darker one sort of in the crease and outer corner, and then the Pouty shade, the lighter one, all over the lid. But today I am planning to use the Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge palette. So this came out a while ago, but I didn't get it immediately. And here is this palette. So I've heard really good things about it. The only like negative things that I've heard is that people wish that the shimmers down here more appropriately matched like the mattes. It doesn't bother me though. Let me know if that's a concern for you, but it doesn't really bother me. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the Colored Rain paint base in the shade Rope. I'm really trying to embrace my natural hair more. Like, it has been a journey, even though my hair has been natural, like without chemicals and stuff, for quite a while, like a decade and a half probably. I don't tend to wear it out a ton, but I'm trying to like just, you know, push back against societal norms and stuff and be more confident in it, but it's definitely hard. I can talk about that in another video if y'all want to. But it's difficult. And it's actually been part of like my research history, because when I first started in my career, I mostly did things on body image and overall like satisfaction with appearance. So a lot of times that came with looking at things like hair and, you know, style and all that stuff. So it's been a part of my personal and professional life. Now, one thing I think that I'm going to do that's different today is that I am going to use these eyeshadow shields. Like, I know Jan uses them all the time, and I have had them for a while. I just rarely use them. I know you can like do the whole thing like this or whatever, but I think I'm gonna cut them in half, very similar to how Jan uses hers, just because these are pretty large in my opinion, and I think that we can achieve something with them just cut in half. So scissors, cut it, and here we go. So of course I want to tell you about some news that I have been seeing. The first thing, like, there are a lot of things related to animals going on. I don't know why all these animals are attacking. I just read this story where this lady was having like Bible study or something at her house, and somebody looks out the window and they're like, "Oh, your dogs are playing." And she's like, "I only have one dog." Like, what? So she goes to look out the window, and her dog, it's like a black lab, is chasing a mountain lion. Apparently the mountain lion gets up in the tree, and I guess the rescue workers or something, by the time they got there, the mountain lion was gone, girl. But I'm like, no thank you, okay? First of all, I mean, I'm glad the dog is like trying to protect the perimeter of the house or whatever, but I don't know how I feel about my dog having to chase a mountain lion. And this thing was big. I thought mountain lions were smaller, or am I thinking of another animal? But you could ride that mountain lion like a horse. And so that dog was like, not in my house. But I just thought, like, what would you do? Somebody was like, oh, look at your dogs. You're like, I have one. That is freaky. But this other thing that I read that happened this month, I'm going to go in, I'm probably going to try out these shades here. Or should I do something different, y'all? Maybe I'll go with these middle shades. I feel like these are my comfort shades, you know? So let's go with the blue. Let's see. So, this month, the police were called to the Pittsburgh International Airport. I think I'll start with this shade here, which is Teen Spirit. They were called to the Pittsburgh International Airport because there was an animal that was like left alone at the airport. The animal was like tied up to like a pole, I think in like the parking garage, with like a bag of food next to it, just tied to the pole, all just like a little bulldog tied to the pole. And so they try to figure out what's going on. Come to find out, it's like the person who the pet belongs to found out when they went to the TSA thing. They were trying to like get on the plane, I guess, and they were like, oh, you need to crate your dog if you're gonna bring him on the plane. So I guess homegirl didn't know this, so instead of figuring out some other option, having someone come pick the dog up or something, she decides just to leave the dog at the airport. She left the dog at the airport, tied it up somewhere, and just like put a bag of food in like a plastic bag next to it. What I don't understand is the dog supposed to use its opposable thumbs to open up the little Ziploc bag and feed itself? Like, how is he going to get into the plastic Ziploc bag? I don't know if it was Ziploc, but that's what I'm imagining. So the police come, and you see these pictures of the police with this, like, cute little dog looking all lonesome and confused. And they, like, took the dog, and I guess they're going to get, you know, take care of it, get someone to adopt it and such. But the lady is going to be charged with, like, animal cruelty or something because they figured out who it was. I just, like, that seems so... It seems super irresponsible and super just, like, mean. Who does that? Like, first of all, I thought it was common practice to like look up what you need to do when you're traveling with an animal. When I was going to travel with my cat Rose, I was like looking up everything. I was looking up the best like carriers, the best airline, everything. So I'm like, so you got all the way to the airport, you have your luggage, and like you have your dog on a leash and you're just like gonna walk through TSA and just get on the plane. Like, what was she thinking? I don't even understand. I don't know what other option she could have had. I mean, maybe she could have asked to push her flight back and like take the dog somewhere. Cause it seems like you might as well just left the dog alone at home rather than taking it to this airport and having it tied up to a pole with a Ziploc bag of food. That just doesn't scream sense to me. It doesn't scream someone who has sense, and the situation doesn't scream making sense. So I fully believe she should be charged with animal cruelty or whatever they're gonna charge her with, because you can't just do that. Like, why do people treat animals like they're handbags? Like, I'm gonna just leave it right here. I don't even want it no more. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That just seems so ridiculous. It just seems like she didn't care about the dog. She didn't want the dog. Because if you're just like, I guess I'll leave it here. Okay. Did she think they were just going to put it in lost and found with, like, the luggage and then she would just pick them back up on the way back? I don't even understand. It really, like, I don't understand. I'm not even going to try to figure out her thought process. And they haven't released her name because, you know, people don't be playing with these animals, girl. They would come after her if they found out. They being just people. Like that Netflix series, Don't F With Cats. People are legit for animals. So I think she would have been getting threats and stuff on her life if people knew who it was. It's like, that just doesn't make sense. Or even if you do leave it, like, call it, what is the ASPCA, or call your local shelter and be like, I'm leaving my dog by gate 4, come and get it. Like, something, so, you know, like, I mean, I don't know. Even if it's an emergency thing, you know, like, I don't see just going to the airport with your animal on a leash and just being like, yeah, it's gonna sit in my lap the whole time. It doesn't make any sense to me. That poor dog. But child, apparently people be trying to get everything on airplanes these days, because I was reading this other story, and what shade did I just use? that I just used. So I'm going to use baggy jeans and candy. Gonna just mix those. So I was reading something else. And I don't know if you've ever followed like TSA on social media, but they are often just like going off on people and like posting what people try to bring on the plane. So this time it was a very interesting thing. Apparently someone was trying to bring their emotional support boa constrictor on the plane. So they put the little bag down. They had a little boa constrictor in the bag, and it went through the little thing, the screener, security screener. And they're like, is that a snake? It's not just a snake, baby. It's a boa constrictor. I'm sorry, but like, I would not be okay sitting next to somebody who has a boa constrictor in their bag under the seat or like in the overhead bin. To me, that seems a little dangerous. Like, it's already dangerous to bring certain animals on board, but you gonna bring a boa constrictor. And here's the thing. See, I know quite a bit about emotional support animals because in the past couple of years, I have gotten more requests for letters for emotional support animals than in my entire career. So I've gotten more in like the past 3-4 years than I have in my entire career. And so I've just been like, what's going on? Now, when I tell you I've only written one letter in the past years, no matter how many people have asked, I've turned down pretty much everyone except for one person. And here's the thing, like, so I've gone to several continuing education seminars on emotional support animals because I like to know like what's going on and everything with what people are hearing and doing, right? I'm gonna go back into Team Spirit. And so what I have learned is that so there's emotional support animals and there are service animals. So service animals are working. Those are the animals that are trained, specifically trained to help people with certain like medical conditions. Like if you have seizures, you can have a dog that can sort of sense the seizure and like get you to lay down or sit down or something. You can have like dogs that help folks who are blind or have some sort of vision impairment. Like those animals are working and they're usually dogs or mini horses. Now, for emotional support animals, there are no regulations. So you can decide what is an emotional support animal. If you find a cockroach on your floor, you can pick it up and tell everybody it's your emotional support cockroach. And we can't say nothing about it because there are no regulations like there are for service animals. Service animals have to be animals that can like be trained and everything. That's why they're limited to what they can be. But emotional support is whatever you want, girl. You can say that this is my ant colony and the one right there, that's my emotional support animal. Or like I have this beehive and the queen right there, she's my emotional support animal. So you can call anything an emotional support animal, which is what I think this person was doing. The thing with emotional support animals is that you have to have a letter written from a therapy professional, a therapist or a psychologist or whatever. So you have to get that letter to like make it legit. But there have been several stories, y'all, of it just not going right in the favor of the therapist. There was one situation where a therapist was being sued because they were writing letters for people that weren't even in their state. And typically for psychologists, for sure, you can only practice in the state in which you're licensed. So they were just, let's say they were licensed in California, they were writing emotional support animal letters for like somebody in Jersey or something. Like you can't do that. That's not okay. But here's the thing. This is the reason that I don't write these letters, is that I think a lot of people just feel like you can, just because an animal makes you feel better, that means it can become your emotional support animal. But here's something that might be a little controversial. There isn't any research that says that emotional support animals are helpful or significantly helpful, significantly more helpful than just a regular animal. There is research to say that having a pet can help your mental health, but there is not yet research that says being classified as an emotional support animal and like going everywhere with people, there's no research to support that that is helpful in any way. So maybe some research is going to come out where it says that an animal designated as an emotional support animal is going to be helpful. I don't know. But I've had people who are just trying to get a discount on their rent, because you can get like lower rent if you have an animal that like you say that you have to have. And I'm not going to sign anything for that. Like that just, no, I'm sorry. I can't do that. Because from what I've learned, the emotional support animal has to be integrated into the therapy process. Like it has to be like, I have this dog to help with my depression because blah, 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 blah. Let's try this shade here. Can you see that? It's kind of Jawbreaker. It's like a purple. So there's just like no, so like research support. And not that I only pay attention to research, but I do pay attention to research. So I've also had to tell people, like, you don't have carte blanche over where you take your emotional support animal, because it's different from a service animal. A service animal can go anywhere that humans go because it is working, you know? But an emotional support animal, you don't have to allow those into your establishment. Like, they can only be really designated for housing and travel. But if you go into a restaurant and you're like, this is my emotional support mouse, they can kick you right out because you don't have any laws like protecting you or geared towards you when it's an emotional support animal versus a service animal. So if I write a letter and I'm like, this is Sandra's emotional support boa constrictor, and that boa constrictor gets out on the plane and squeeze somebody, the life out of them, guess who's gonna be held liable for some of that? Me. And I'm not doing it. Nope. So I've written like one letter for someone, and we have specifically discussed how this will be used in therapy, how the animal will be, and it's also a letter that I require. Like, you have to then stay in therapy for a certain amount of time, and we have to revisit the letter after a certain amount of time. Like, I put a time limit on it. And that's just me. Like, I'm kind of on the more strict side of things. So sometimes when people ask me, I'm like, I'm not going to write it, but you are free to find somebody who will. Like, you can go online and type it in, and there's going to be some wackadoodle who is okay writing it for you for $200. It's just not going to be me. But I'm just kind of strict with things, just because I'm very mindful of like liability and things like that. I don't want to be like messing with nothing that's going to get me in trouble, you know? Because I am not trying to have your little mouse like causing a ruckus on the plane, and you show a letter that says, well, Dr. B said that this is an emotional support mouse. No, I did not, girl. Do not bring me into these shenanigans. Don't do it. Girl. So, I don't know if you use services like Postmates and Uber Eats and DoorDash, but I saw this story from a couple weeks ago where this woman gets, I think it was Postmates, gets a Postmates order, and it's for a bunch of flowers. And I guess they were trying to figure out, like, from the person, like, what do you want the flowers to say, you know, on the little card and everything. And this man said, please say it's from your baby daddy. I'm sorry. So the lady films herself, the postmater films herself going to drop off the flowers. And the person who's receiving the flowers opens the door, and the lady's like, "It's from your baby daddy. He says he's sorry." And the lady is like, "Are you for real?" She's like, "Yeah." Now, here is the thing. Listen. You're apparently saying you're sorry, but you can't even go to the store and get the flowers yourself. You are literally going to have somebody from Postmates go get the flowers and deliver them to me? Girl, no. Like, we're still gonna have a problem, sir, because wow, you can't even get the flowers yourself. You gotta go get somebody to bring them to me. I feel like that doesn't make it better. I don't accept your apology. Like, that doesn't make it better. No. No. I would be so embarrassed. Like, you can't even just have, like, the flower delivery people do it. You can't just call the flower shop and be like, "You know what, I need to get this thing. You know, I done messed up with my baby mama. I need to send her some flowers." No, you can't even do that. You're going to have Postmates do it. So they're going to go to like, Wegmans and pick up some flowers. I'm not going to do it. No, I would not forgive that man. Whatever he done did, I'm not forgiving you. Okay, I'm gonna go into some of the purples. I'm just like throwing everything on my eye. Let's see what that does. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would be real upset. Like, no, you did not. You did not. And I bet he was all proud of himself. Like, yeah, I got my girl some flowers and had it delivered. No, boo. You ordered through Postmates and had her go up to the nearest shopper's market and buy the flowers. Like, how do you know that she even got the ones you wanted? And how do you know that these are like fresh flowers? Like, I'm not opposed to grocery store flowers, let me tell you. But I just feel like I'm gonna need you to put in a little bit more effort. I really want to know what happened after that. Was homegirl like, "Oh my God, thank you for my flowers, boo"? Because I wouldn't do that. I would not be saying thank you. I'm gonna go into bubblegum. I would not be saying thank you. I'd be saying the nerve of you, sir. What am I supposed to do now? You can't even go get me flowers yourself. Maybe this is why we're in a baby mama, baby daddy situation and we can't move on to, like, you know, a committed relationship. Cause you got me confused with somebody else, I guess. You got me effed up. That is not the way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people would think that was cute. But could you imagine calling your girlfriends like, "Yeah, girl, he got me some flowers. He like had it delivered by Postmates, and your little message that the little delivery girl told me. He said he was sorry." I would be like, "Girl, I know you did not just take these flowers from this man that he ordered through Postmates. You didn't. You did not." I'll be like, "You know what, Postmates, put return to sender on these. Take them back. Because I'm going to need you to at least put in a little bit more effort. I'm going to need you to at least call a flower shop and have them do a handwritten note to tell me you sorry. Got this girl in the middle of her Postmates shift going to get me some flowers from the local Safeway. Y'all doing too much out here." It's hot. I'm going to turn this air on. I'm sorry. I have a few more things to talk about. Oh, girl, I forgot about that one. Okay, we're going to get to the salacious one in a second. I was looking at something, y'all. And it really took my breath away. There is something that's called Text with Jesus. Now, this is... into this shade. What shade is this? Skater girl. I'm going into this shade. Now, I was like, what is that? So, you know, basically, it's artificial intelligence. That has been a big thing, y'all. What are y'all thinking about that? Like, it's taken over, like, different fields and stuff. There were even people talking in the various, like, psychology groups I'm in about having these AI bots, like, write your therapy notes. And I feel some kind of way about that. But people are, like, loving it and stuff. And I think, like, the medical industry, like the billionaires and stuff, they are loving it, but doctors are just like, oh, I don't know about that. And I'm on that side. But apparently there's an app where you can chat with Jesus. And I guess you could text Jesus like some different questions and he'll text you back with some answers in a Bible verse. So it's like instant messaging, and you can decide if there are other biblical figures that you want to chat with. So you could even chat with Satan. Like, girl, I think the only difference with that is that there's a little devil emoji that comes in with the message. Now, I used to joke that it would be nice if, like, the good Lord just went ahead and sent me, like, a text or, you know, like, some mail, like a handwritten postcard and tell me, like, what's going on, like, what's his plan and everything. I would appreciate that. Or, like, a quick phone call with a voicemail. Like, just, like, let me know. Just let me in on the plans. But I feel some kind of way about this chat with Jesus or text with Jesus or whatever. Like, first of all, how do you know what Jesus gonna say? First of all. And people will make $1 out of 15 cents, girl, and they will charge you for everything. So not only now do I have to like send this AI my prayer request, but I have to pay for the Lord to respond. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not gonna chat with Jesus. Like, I mean, the song does say to have a little talk with Jesus and tell him what's on your mind, but I think I would just rather pray than like texting an AI. Now, if they were like, the good Lord Jesus for real gonna answer you, you're like, let me try this out because God, we got to talk, you know? But girl, people, and then how they gonna say, you could text the devil? You could text like Mary Magdalene. You could text like the apostles, Moses. Girl, and I would be, because if I was doing that, I would be acting a fool. Like, Moses, what was it like to get them 10 commandments? He was all up on that Mount Sinai and stuff. Like, I would be stupid. So you know what? I'm going to leave the chat with Jesus, text with Jesus alone. Because I would just ruin it for everybody. I already know. Like Mary, girl. Virgin birth. No, I can't. Some things I think we just need to leave alone. So here is the all-nighter primer from Urban Decay. This is actually one of my favorite primers. And as I've been using different primers and stuff, I'm realizing I really like the Dior Backstage primer. And I also really like the Fashion Fair primer. I felt like it wasn't doing anything, but now that I'm using other primers, I'm like, oh, okay, that Fashion Fair one was pretty good for keeping my makeup on my face, for like, making it a little bit more matte. So I didn't appreciate it when I had it, which I'm sure is what all of my exes say about me. Anyway, so what was the other one I was going to tell you about? I can't tell which one I'm more upset about. Let's start with this one. So remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about girl dinner, right? And I had a discussion with my niece about it, because is she Gen Z? I don't know what generation she is, but she's 25, I think. And I was like, but what is this? And she was trying to like defend it and stuff. And I was like, it still don't make no sense to me. I feel like it's just your generation, and this is what we all do, right? Different generations were like, your generation. I feel like y'all are just trying to reinvent the wheel with this and put in like names of things that don't need a name. And she was like, well, your generation and the generation before you, like, y'all don't even want to learn. I'm like, actually we do, girl. We just confused as to what all this stuff means. Like, let me know what it means, because I thought, like, vibe was just like the energy you're getting off of somebody. Like, that's your vibes. But she was like, we just need to vibe and chill. And I'm like, but explain that to me, because I thought vibes was just like, so I don't know. It was an interesting conversation, but there was girl dinner, and now there is girl math. Let me read to you what this person who like invented it came up with. She said anything under $5 pretty much is free. Like, it doesn't matter. Or if you almost had to get an oil change, but you didn't, that's money in your pocket. Or that if you load your Starbucks card and then you buy a drink later, like after, like maybe a couple weeks after you load it, that means the drink is actually free. And if you buy like tickets to a concert like in advance, and then you go to the concert like months later, then like the concert is free. This right here don't make no sense to me. Like I need somebody to, like there's a part of me that doesn't want you to explain it to me. Like I just don't care. And then there's a part of me that's like I need to understand this. Like how does that work exactly? I'm gonna go in with the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. Like, and as I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, this is sort of clarifying for me how I feel about the girl dinner. I feel like it is super privileged. It's super privileged, like both of these things, girl dinner and girl math. It's just like people with privilege having nothing better to do with their time. Do you know what I mean? It's like those people who have nothing better to do with their time, so they do stupid stuff. Like they just spend money to spend it, you know? So this to me, like girl dinner, it feels like I remember the girl saying, you just forage around for food. Like some people don't have food, girl. And you're just like talking about foraging around for stuff and you just throw stuff together. Like that is such a privileged perspective. Like some people don't have the luxury of having a full on, you know, nutritional meal for dinner. Like it just feels like spitting in the face of people who don't have access to certain things. And so with this girl dinner thing, girl math, first of all, there's already this like misconception that folks who are girls or, you know, women in society can't do math and science. Like there's already fewer people who are women in those fields. So now you're talking about girl math, and it really feels to me like it's diminishing that like fact. And I'm probably thinking too much about it. I will own that. I'm probably thinking way too much about it. But in the article, people are like, oh my God, I do that too. Yeah, girl math, hashtag. Like, I just feel some kind of way about it. And even the thing where like, if it's under $5, then it's free. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's still $5. That's still 5 whole doll hairs. So I don't understand why people are like, that just means it's free. Or like, if you buy a ticket for a concert a couple months before, then when you go to the concert, it's free. That don't even make no sense to me. You spent the money. Like, how is it free? There was another one where they were like, if I buy something for $50 and I return it, and then I buy something for $100, then I've only really spent $50. No, you spent the whole $100. You just spent it in 2 different occasions. Oh, y'all, it really gets my goat. Like, it bothers me for some reason. And that's why I know I'm like taking it too seriously, because I'm so bothered by it. But it just something feels wrong about it. Something just feels wrong. It like trivializes things, and it just like, well, bless you that $5 doesn't mean a thing to you, and that you feel like if you load your Starbucks card and use it later, that you got a free drink, because you didn't get a free drink. Y'all, it bothers me. It bothers me so much. I think this bothers me more than the girl dinner. Girl math, when did this light turn off? Girl math bothers me more than girl dinner, because it just seems so, who comes up with this stuff? I feel like that's just a way to promote like over consuming things. What's it called? Consumerism, like, because you're pretending that it's free, or that it didn't cost you any money, or that anything under $5 is free, but it's not. Maybe that's from growing up with not a lot of resources, where I'm like, girl, $5 is $5, okay? It's not just throwaway, like you throw away a penny. Like, also keep those pennies, save them up, and then go take them to the penny changer and get your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, what do y'all think about that? I'm really bothered by it. I'm honestly really bothered by it, because I don't support it and I don't understand it. Let me blend out this concealer. This is the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealer. Speaking of brands that like are gone, I think CoverFX is coming out with some stuff, like a foundation, and it seems like they may be reformulating their PowerPlay foundation, which is actually one of my favorite foundations ever. So I'm going to look into that, because if they are, I'm definitely going to purchase those things, because those have been my favorite, and it's just like you can't find CoverFX anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and blend all of this out, and then I have one last story, child, that we got to talk about. I will be right. I'm just going to do my blush and everything, and then powder, and then we'll be done. So the blush that I'm going to use is the Pat McGrath Labs Divine Blush in Paradise Venus. I'm really trying to hit pan, y'all. I'm like going in on this side. So the last story I'm going to tell you about is very interesting. Basically, I read the headline and it was like, oh, that's pan. There is a do you see that? Ah! That's pan. I finally hit pan. What? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, that wasn't the headline, but it's my headline now. I want to make it bigger. Okay. The headline was, bride asked for refund from photographer. So this is the bride had her photos taken at her wedding, which is very common. But a little bit later, she asked for a refund. So the photographer is like, why? So apparently the person that the photographer like contracted out to like help with the wedding, you know, having more than one photographer, apparently she slept with the groom a little after the ceremony. And somehow the bride found out. And so bride was like, girl, give me my money back and like tell your assistant she can have this man. So she wants her money back because, you know, she got to give her wedding back too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess that marriage isn't going to work. Listen, how you going to cheat on your new wife? Like, it's been an hour and you already cheating on her with the photography girl. Like what kind of shadiness? What kind of foolishness is that? What kind of foolishness? He just should have said, I don't want to get married or something. Or just like, you know, people out here just don't be showing up these days. Like having people looking like a fool. You ain't walking down the aisle because you out somewhere not planning to come and get married. I almost feel like do that rather than go through with the whole marriage and then go sleep with somebody and now we got to get an annulment or whatever. Like, you wasting time and funds. You especially wasting money on the wedding that we just have to pay for. But anyway, so I guess the photographer, I am using the NARS Soft Matte Powder. This also has pan in it. Don't hate, appreciate. You know, also what I feel about this powder is it's a little water resistant. Like the other day, I was like super hot. I had already set my face with my powder. And I noticed like the what's it called? So my phone is ringing. The like sweat and perspiration was like sitting on top of the powder. So I was just able to dab it away. And I was like, yes, powder. Anyway, so the photographer was trying to get people's opinion on should she refund the bride, and a lot of people were saying no because like it wasn't like her fault, I guess. I don't know. I kind of feel, I'm not sure. I would maybe give her like back a little bit. I mean, because that's devastating. I would just feel so many emotions, and I don't know how the bride found out, but I think you know what it was? This janky behind man took photos when he was like sleeping with the other girl. So that's how the new wife found out, because she saw the photos on his phone. Not only is he horrible, but he's also dumb. He's stupid. He's an idiot. Anyway, those are all the stories. This is the finished look. So I do like the Sugar and Grunge palette. I mean, this is pretty much like all the other Blend Bunny palettes. I don't know why I feel like some of the shimmers were a little harder to use than some of her other palettes for some reason. It could just be that it's the first time using it, so sometimes you got to get that first top layer off. But I felt like they were just a little harder for some reason. I do like the range of colors. I find that these colors seem to be showing up pretty well, even though some of them are like a lighter pastel kind of thing. And sometimes that doesn't bode well for darker skin, but seems like it works. So I am glad that I have that. And when I used the All Done Up palette this weekend, even though I only used 2 of the mattes, like, they were great. I really love how they perform. So I'm looking forward to using the shimmers at the bottom here. So that is it. Hopefully some of this was helpful. I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. Make sure to let me know how you feel about some of these news stories, because I think the last one... all of them got me in some way. Like the boa constrictor, the leaving the dog at the airport, the girl math, the wedding thing. Like, they all just include some real shady, sneaky, dumbass people. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please leave me a comment. Tell me any news stories you found. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.